Morning, folks. It's a Monday morning. Running a little bit later than I anticipated. At any rate, here's the soap of the day. This particular soap, it came in a puck form. 3 ounces, uh, run you about $8.50. Inexpensive to a degree. And went ahead and came with its own sticker here. And I peeled the sticker off of the puck that was wrapped in paper and stuck it on the back here. This was an extra container I had, and decided I would give those a try to see how they work out for me in the way of putting them in other containers that were empty. And this one here, like I say, is a 3 ounce puck, and I was able to press it down inside. Just took the puck, unwrapped it, pressed it down in there, worked out just fine for me. And just thought that this would be one of those things that maybe some folks might be interested in from Crowne and Crane. This also tobacco and amber. I probably should mention that, but it was just something that I had purchased and thought this was something that some folks might appreciate. I know for me, I did. It was really nice to be able to get the front sticker right here so I can stick it on top of the lid, because I already had a container that was empty, and like I say, I peeled that off the back of it and stuck it on there. It all worked out really nice. Just a thought, if you're, in other words, you've got some extra containers and you're not really needing another container, just order the puck form of it, and it, like I say, it's still firm, but it's soft enough where you can just press it right down in there, and then you got yourself already set up and ready to go. Just a thought for some folks that are working that way, if you will. And I'm going to follow the shave up here with the Clubman Reserve. This one here is Whisky Woods, and it's got the little bit of the scent description right there. And it's a smoky scent with whiskey and tobacco, woody scent. It kind of fits right into, I guess you might say, the theme of the scent for the day. This video may run a little long. I have it whipped up here in a, this is my very first Crown King scuttle here, and that's what it looks like there on the inside. These aren't available, not being offered anymore. When I bought this one here, this one here, I guess you might say, was a factory first, and then I've got a black one that is a factory second. I bought these, early on, and got more than one of them because they're porcelain. You face it, this soap is slick, and if it's on the scuttle, you drop it, or somebody else may want to admire it and then accidentally drop it. In other words, once one of these drop, it's toast. So that's the reason why I went in and picked up more than one. At any rate, they're pretty nice. At the time, they're inexpensive. I really do like scuttles from time to time. This is a Phoenix Artisan Accoutrements brush here. This one here is the Amber Aerolite. This is a 24 millimeter knot. In the last video I used one with a 26 millimeter. 24 is about as big as I prefer to go. If you're reading that previous video, comments down below how some of us, like me, I prefer the smaller knots. They work better for me, as goes for coverage for my face and what I need it for. 24 millimeter is, even at that, it covers a lot of area with no more what I've got to work with here. But it's a pretty nice brush. Also, I've already put a hot towel to the face this morning on my pre-shave routine, and I used some beard oil. This particular beard oil is from Maggard. This one's grapefruit flavored, and it also has Proraso's beard oil mixed in with it. It's I guess you might say, my special setup for pre-shave, and it's working pretty well for me. Shaver of the day. The blade I'll be using is a Feather Artist Club Super, and it's not in this particular shavette. This is a Irving Barber company shavette. This particular shavette will take Feather Artist Club blades. It'll also take injector blades or mini hair shaper blades, depends on what circle you travel in, as well as DE blades snapped in half. It will take all three of those blades in this particular shaver. And there is a thumb screw here that you loosen up, and then that plate right there will come around. And it may be kind of hard to tell on this particular one, but there are two magnets that are there to help hold the blade in place while you're dealing with swinging it around and tighten up that little thumb screw. This was the very first shavette from IBC that I picked up. And back then when I picked it up, it came in this particular case right here. They're not being sold with cases anymore, I do not believe. At least the one I got here recently, I had to go and I went to Superior Shave and ordered a case for it. I prefer to have a case for some of these shavettes. And I ordered this one here from the Superior Shave shop. And in case you're interested, in this particular one that I ordered, the shavette just fits just right in there. It's just perfect, if you will. And this piece right here is leather. So in other words, you're in the bathroom, watch how much water you get on. This particular coloration is called rose gold. It is creosote. In other words, for those that travel in the circles, you might see them on some shotguns or rifles or whatnot. It's a very durable coating. There is some upsides of having one coated like this, is you don't have to worry about it corroding or even shining it, wear and tear on it or anything quite like that. It is quite different in the way that it's coated, which makes it kind of nice for some folks that appreciate this sort of thing. The one thing I should mention also, it has those screws right there on each side, and you notice it's slotted. Well, that slot is not very wide, so you'll have to be kind of particular about what kind of screwdriver you use. And the ones I have found that fit in those slots that are not so wide, usually, in other words, the screwdriver is not as wide as the rest of the screw. So that is something I thought I would point out, because if you get to that point where you need to snug it up to your liking, you're going to need two of them, and they're not going to be very wide. So you'll have to be kind of particular about which ones you buy if you don't have one that fits right in there. I just want to point that out. All right, go ahead and wet the face and get started here. I understand that shavettes is probably not everybody's thing, which I understand, especially if you're in the straight razor world. There's kind of a love-hate for some folks. They like straight razors, but they hate shavettes, which I understand, because some consider the shavette to be not as forgiving as a straight razor. And for me, I got started with a shavette, and it was because of cost. My very first ones were not very expensive. The blades are DE blades, snapped in half is what I started with. So for me, that's how I got started. And it just worked out better for me starting out with a shavette. And over time, even now from time to time, yes, I do end up with a nick or a cut, depending on my focus. And that is one of those things that are about when you use one of these, that does demand your focus. And if you don't, it's going to remind you. For me, though, it was a good place to start. Definitely an inexpensive way to get started, with the exception of the nicks and cuts. But we'll go ahead and get started here. Now, if you watch some of my videos over time, one of the things that for me that I prefer to have is a blade that covers from end to end right there. I don't particularly care for ones, in other words, that can only come to part way. Then you got all this right here, because it has a tendency to remove the shaving cream before you have a chance to get your blade through there. For me, it's just one of those things that kind of bothers me. So if this portion is long, I want a long blade. If it's short, I want a short blade. It's just, for me, it just works better that way. Because when you're trying to use the heel or the toe of the blade, it makes it easier for me to use, because if I'm trying to outline the facial hair and it's a short blade, I've got to figure out how I'm going to do this, and it just doesn't work well for me with a short blade. I have one that I've had for a while. It's one of those that I don't use very often. It's just because of that reason. It takes an injector blade, mini hair shaper blade, but it's long like this and it doesn't come all the way down to the end. It's quite a bit of distance and just makes it difficult for me to use. With my facial hair. Now for those that don't have it, it'll probably be less of an issue. But for me, it's an issue. Just something I really don't like. If you're interested in looking for one of these that's Korea coated, they come in various different colors. If you can find them, because this is a limited run. So some of these have already, how can you say, sold out. Red, orange, black and gold, gold, rose gold, green. There might be a few more colorations of it, but there were several different to be choosing from. I have a link down below where they have a few of these available. They're not the easiest to find nowadays. If you go to IBC's website, they don't have any that are Korea coated on the website, so you'll have to go to. What I did is I went to where they have some retailers, affiliates, if you will. And those affiliates, I went down through a good number of them trying to find somebody that has still sold these things. This is a very versatile shave head. Like I say, it takes 3 different kind of blades, and all these parts, you can get all these parts individually if you needed to from IBC. It is something to, I guess you might say, to consider if you're looking at using this for the rest of your life. You might need a part or two. For instance, it's not visible here, but inside there's 2 little clear plastic washers inside right there that might need to be replaced to get worn over time. You can get those. They're not too terribly expensive through IBC. Just little things here and there that you might need over time. I do enjoy shaving with them. If you don't have facial hair, in other words, using a DE blade snapped in half, hey, it is such a versatile shavette, and it's well built. The design, the thought process in behind it is well thought out. It was they put some effort into it. All right, I usually do a 2-pass shave. My lather is still pretty warm. I should mention also, in case this is one of the first times you've seen me in my videos, I have a tendency to have my lather rather wet, moist, because slickness is king when it comes to shavette and straight razor shaving. And I have found that a wet or moist lather works best for me. Very little to no drag. In other words, very slick when it's like that. If you're wondering about shaving with a DE or an injector versus shaving with a shavette or straight razor, what's the, I guess you might say, the benefits, or this, for me, it's the satisfaction of being able to accomplish the shave with one of these. Is that accomplishment, that feeling is just awesome. And plus, some feel that you get a closer shave with a shavette or a straight razor. Which for me, that's probably the reason why I feel like I can get by with a 2-pass shave with a shavette or a straight razor, because it is pretty darn close. This particular one here, when I bought it, still might be on sale. Last time I looked, it was still on sale for right at $60. So that is something to consider. There is a price, but a lot of these Craig Coat shavettes, these usually run closer to the $75, $80 mark. But if you get, I guess you might say, the standard one, it'll run pretty close to $60. Now, the very first one I bought is the first one I showed you, and it's all chrome. And I like the all chrome one. It looks good. It really does. Fingerprint magnet, you bet. But I really do like it. It is my favorite one. Outside of when they came out with the Clear Coat and the red does look good. Nice to have colors, that's for sure. Kind of changes the, I guess you might say, the environment, the atmosphere. It's kind of like when you go out to eat. Some of the environment when you go into a restaurant, some of the atmosphere has a lot to do with what they're selling. And when you're doing colors, it does change, I guess you might say, the complexion of the shave. Just that seeing the color in your hand, for some folks, makes a world of difference. Black and gold, that contrast of the colors look really good. It is tempting to get one of those or to mix it up. For instance, red and black, for instance, that's another one that just that contrast just really looks good. All right, I don't think I'm going to have any stinging this morning. It went pretty smooth. Kind of see what happens. Don't even notice it. Got a weeper right there. I didn't feel it. Matter of fact, it's not even stinging. It is interesting how those happen. Sometimes they don't even pop up until after I put the aftershave on and I shut the video off and I'm cleaning up and I look up there and I got a weeper. It doesn't happen very often, but it does happen. Not only with a shavette or a straight razor, but just a regular razor, it has since they have happened. I think my case is trying to not stay shut anymore. Witch hazel, Humphreys. You can kind of tell it's getting lower. This bottle's going to last a good long moment. As it goes for the aftershave that I'm getting ready to use, the prices kind of seem to be more or less all over the map, depending on where you shop. And if I remember correctly, the website I've got linked to this particular one, you can get the version of this size, which is 6 ounces, and there's a smaller version that you can pick up and of course pay a little bit less for, if that's something you're interested in, because you can get it with the smaller version of this. You can put it in a bag and take it with you on your trip. Makes it a little bit easier. That's what the restrictor looks like there, if you're kind of wondering. It's not a big wide open opening for those that are concerned about that sort of thing. I do like the sense of the Clubman Reserve. Those are pretty nice. You'll have ones like this one here that is it's a very manly scent. And then if you go with Gent's Gin or tequila, either one of those, bright, but not near as, how you say, manly or bold as something like this one here. This one here with tobacco leaf and amber, yeah, these two play well together in my opinion. At least it does with my nose. I had a really good shave this morning. Just had the one weeper that just kind of popped up and went away. Had a great shave. I hope everybody is having a great day on a Monday. It's still cold here. Stay healthy, stay safe, and smooth shaves to you.